is talking about surviving for themselves and trying to get by. We need to get back to that we're working as a community, we're working as a team, we're working for the people. We want this to be the greatest country in the world, and we want to keep it that way for our kids and our grandkids. And we all appreciate America, but we can't pay for all these illegals, and we can't pay for a lot of the waste and the corruption.
Thank you. The next question is, if you eliminated capital gains and inheritance tax, how much would we save, and what programs would you cut? And let's start with Paul.
What you would gain is what you gain in free marketplaces, getting people to reinvest in America. Second part of this?
How much would you save, and what programs would you cut?
Well,
Capital gains and inheritance tax.
First of all, as a small businessman, when you don't have the money, you gotta cut your budget. That's the first thing you got to do. And this country has been borrowing now for almost 43 cents. It's going just to pay back debt. So you have to start by cutting your budget. That's number one. And the way you're going to get an economy to get back on track is getting incentives for people to have personal accountability, personal responsibility, getting the free marketplaces opening and running. And you do that, and it's been shown by President Reagan, take away the problems with taxation. If I invest, I can get some rewards and make it a benefit to reward them for investment in America. That's where you will gain. How much? I'm sure Tom can give us more of an accurate profile. But that's how you have to start. And you have to allow for people to own, earn, and continue to hold themselves accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe?
I think I need that question repeated. It sounds like a two-part question.
It is. It's if you eliminated capital gains and inheritance tax, how would we save, and what programs would you cut?
Okay, the first question, it's actually on the death tax. It's actually $1.5 million would be created for small business, and you'd actually add $119 billion to the GDP. And again, why is it that this isn't such an issue in terms of the death tax? And what it comes down to, and Mr. Bowers walked out on us, but it comes down to the lobbying section. There's $12 million in premiums out there in the insurance industry that keeps this alive. They want small businesses buying premiums to cover the tax, so that's what it amounts to. And then the second question would be, I guess the question really should be, well, what would you do with the savings, right? I mean, what programs would you cut? Wouldn't the question be, what would you do with the savings?
Yeah. My question, yeah.
If you have the savings, I mean, in terms of the savings, that gets back to reducing the size and scope of the federal government. That gets back to our biggest problem, entitlements. You know, what are we going to do with Medicare and Medicaid? What are we going to do with health care? So there's plenty of, I think the first place you got to go is take the savings toward our seniors and Social Security, because I think everybody's in agreement that even the other side of the aisle is in agreement that something has to be done with entitlements.
Thank you. John?
Could you repeat it for me also one more time?
Sure. If you eliminated capital gains and inheritance tax, how much would we save, and what programs would you cut?
Okay, so the capital gains would help us to, I think, if we could eliminate that and then bring back just again the free enterprise. That we need more free enterprise. We need more business. We need the businesses to be doing well, and we need to get government out of that. If there's a surplus, basically, I agree with Joe. I think we need to bolster up our Social Security for our seniors, our legal citizens, and Medicare, and make sure there's enough for the kids and the families in the future when they're in poverty situation and they're on a strict budget and they can't afford anything. So I think we need the government to get out of all the restrictions and regulations. When we get these profits of any kind, they go towards balancing the budget, dropping the deficit, and also bolstering up Social Security.